What's up everybody, it's Cole, welcome back to another video on the channel, and as you can see by the title, today we're going to be ranking all 29 of Battlefield 1's maps on a scale of I want to cream, this map is amazing, down to DICE, why the fuck is this in the game? Like, why did you Alright, before we start, let's get a brief disclaimer out of the way. All of these maps are going to be based on my own personal opinion as an infantry player. These rankings are also going to be based upon how all these maps play out on the Conquest or Conquest Assault game mode. Why only these two? Well, quite frankly, they're the only game modes available on active servers in Australia, where I'm from personally. With that out the way, let's get this going, starting off with Tsaritsyn. Tsaritsyn, I don't know who came up with the idea or what the idea was when they first proposed Tsaritsyn, because quite frankly, this map sucks. This map is terrible. Whoever proposed this at the team meeting at DICE should probably be fired, because it's just awful. Nothing about this map plays well. Everything is just focused around that B flag in the center in the giant Russian chapel building. I don't know what the technical term is, I'm sorry. And it just sucks. It's not well balanced at all. It's not fun. It just has nothing going for it, quite frankly. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just bad. This is probably going to be my most controversial pick on the list now. St. Quentin Scar is on the same level as Tsaritsyn. St. Quentin Scar, as an aggressive infantry player, this is how it feels playing St. Quentin Scar. Imagine St. Quentin is a giant pasta strainer, right? And then on the edges of those pasta strainers, you have artillery trucks, light tanks, LMGs, and snipers. And all that they're doing is just raining lead down into the infantry area, down into the pasta. And that pasta now sucks. That pasta is riddled with toxic, terrible individuals that are having no fun because they're just getting their asses absolutely obliterated. And quite frankly, I just feel like I'm getting when I play St. Quentin. St. Quentin's terrible. To kind of switch up the mood now, I'm going to go on to my favourite map in this game, Achi Baba. Achi Baba is the most well-balanced infantry-only map in the entire game. Every single class can succeed on Achi Baba, and every single class has a spot where they can play well. It's just beautifully well balanced, super fun, you can do anything you want, and a good player can absolutely obliterate an enemy team just because of the amount of options that they have available to them in the map design. It is an incredible map. I love Achi Baba. What should we go with next? Fort de Vaux. All the homies love Fort de Vaux. Fort de Vaux was DICE's attempt at introducing an Operation Metro style map into Battlefield 1. And as Aka Art would say, by the way, shout out to Aka Art, his channel link will be in the description. Awesome Battlefield YouTuber, love his content. Fort de Vaux is just a meat grinder. It is an absolute meat grinder. All it is just assault players spamming grenades with shotguns and absolutely just making the entire map one giant clusterfuck. It is so much fun. It is so poorly executed. It's terrible design, but it's just so much fun, and there's just a reason that there are 24/7 Fort de Vaux servers. It's incredible. Now, Argonne Forest is definitely a community favourite. It's not quite on Fort de Vaux' level, in my opinion, but it's still incredibly fun. Once again, infantry only, super fun, heaps of flanking routes, beautiful map design, super well balanced. There's heaps and heaps of ways that other classes can thrive. I just don't think that it's quite on Achi Baba's level. Let's go with Caporetto. Caporetto is quite possibly the most beautiful map in this entire game, but it sucks. It is super limited because it's a conquest assault only map, and the attackers always start at the top of this hill with no cover whatsoever, and it's absolutely free if you're a defending sniper. It is so easy to just completely spawn trap the enemy team. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. It looks incredible, but it's just terrible. Fao Fortress. I don't know, Fao Fortress is just kind of eh. It's alright, I guess. There's nothing incredible about it. You really only play two ways. You either play as a super aggressive infantry player around C or D, I think it is. No, C or B. And then other than that, everyone is just sitting on the top of the hill or on the fortress itself with a sniper rifle. And then there's planes dropping bomb after bomb. It's nothing special. It just plays the same way every single time. There's no variety, and you kind of forget about it, really. There's a reason you don't see it very often nowadays. Let's go with Prise. Prise, once again, belongs in the why the fuck is this in the game category. Prise is no fun. Essentially, Prise is Amiens if Amiens was at night. But it's at night if they turn the brightness down to 0. It is so dark, you cannot see anyone that you're shooting at or is it shooting at you. And quite frankly, it just sucks. It's terrible. Even if you turned your brightness all the way to 100, you still wouldn't see people. You still will not see anyone, and you will just die over and over again to people camping in corners. And it's awful. It's so unenjoyable. There's nothing good about it. It sucks, quite frankly. These three maps, whenever I get them, I leave. I don't play them anymore. It just... Unless I'm super depressed and just want to torture myself, I will not play these maps. Ever. I refuse to. Now, let's just finish out the it's alright category, because they all kind of fall under the same thing where they're just forgettable. There's nothing special to it. And because of that, in the it's alright category, I'm going to put Lupkow, Brusilov, Rupture, Nivelle, and where's the other one? Soissons. They're all just forgettable because they all just play out the exact same way, essentially, on the exception of Nivelle. I don't know what it is about Nivelle. I just don't really enjoy it. It's just kind of there. It just kind of exists. But these maps all play about the same way. It's just all snipers in one spot, raining down bolt action, high caliber rounds, and then like one or two places where there's infantry gameplay. That's really all it is. It's just eh. Next, let's get the rest of our Conquest Assault maps out of the way. So we've got Cape Hells, Zeebrugge, and Heligoland Bight. Oh, and River Somme. River Somme is also Conquest Assault. So I'm going to put Cape Hells and River Somme in the pretty good category. They're definitely the most well-balanced Conquest Assault maps. They still suffer from the flaws of the other Conquest Assault maps where it's just you're getting spawn trapped until your team finally decides to push up with you, which is very rare in Battlefield, unfortunately, because everyone just plays the same way. But we're not going to get into that. That's maybe a video for another day. But other than that, they can be super fun. They can be super fun because they're quite well balanced. There's plenty of flanking routes. There's plenty of opportunities for classes to thrive. Planes are pretty overpowered in Cape Hells, but they can be avoided and they can be counterable if you can place smoke grenades well. But yeah, they're just probably the most well-balanced Conquest Assault maps, in my opinion. Alternatively, we have Heligoland Bight. Heligoland Bight belongs with Caporetto. It pretty self-explanatory. You spend 3/4 of the game just running around trying to find a fight, and when you finally do, it's usually you getting shot by a boat from the back of the map, or getting sniped from somewhere you didn't even know existed because there's so many rocks that like rookie snipers just play, and it's just... You spend more time running around looking for engagements than actually playing the game on Heligoland Bight. I do not like Heligoland. And our last one, Zeebrugge. Zeebrugge's alright. It's... in theory, it should be the most interesting Conquest Assault map because everything takes place on a linear field on a warship. Like, it's super, super cool. But in practice? Not so much. It's just kind of forgettable. Like the rest of these maps, it's the most forgettable out of these because like you play it and you're neither having fun like you are in Capels or River Somme, and you're not complaining constantly like you are in Heligoland Bight or Caporetto. It's just kind of there. Like it's probably a testament to the map balance, but at the same time, it's just there's nothing remarkable about it. I don't know where else to put it. Now, let's get the rest of these out in order. Suez is on the is here on the damn it I have to play this because Suez always it's just spawn trap city. That's all that happens every single game. Whether it's one team or another, they're always just getting pushed back to the spawn. And quite frankly, I would put that down to Battlefield's team balancing being terrible at times, and the map design being quite flawed. While Suez can be a lot of fun, it's always either a heck of a lot of fun and you can hit a lot of clips. I personally have hit a lot of clips on Suez just because you can play it to how you want to if you're on the team that's winning, or it can be the most frustrating experience in all of gaming because you just can't move out of spawn. There's no in between. It's just, yeah, it's not fun half the time, or it's super fun the other half the time. So because of that, I have to put it here. I can't put it anywhere else. It's just poorly balanced. Monte Grappa. Monte Grappa, I'd put it as pretty good. It suffers a lot from planes. Planes are super broken on this map because they're everywhere. But at the same time, it can be a lot of fun because there's room for a lot of different things. If you play, almost all of the fighting personally takes place up top at D and B objective. Between those two, if you want to have the most enjoyable experience, I recommend playing there because otherwise everywhere else you're just going to get pinged by snipers. And a lot of things can happen. It can get super chaotic up there. And the Fortress guns are a really nice addition. They add a bit of variety to the gameplay. And honestly, I would put it up in this category here if it wasn't for the planes. The planes are just stupidly overpowered on this map, and because of that, I can't really move it anywhere else. Next up, we got Albion. Albion is here. Albion suffers from a lot of the same issues as St. Quentin. It's just, instead of it being a pass to strainer, there's just this one giant ridge hill where you just have all of these rookie snipers that think they're the best players in the game. They just dink you over and over again. They rarely kill you, but they dink you to such low HP that then their LMG friends that are prone with a high-powered telescopic variant with 250 rounds then just laser you for the last bit of damage. And that's really the main way you die, or the main engagements you have. There's no other way to really play it because that's just how everyone does it. It's just annoying. It's not fun. Galicia, I'm going to put in the alrights category, not because it's boring or forgettable, because it's so poorly balanced that essentially it just becomes into a 32 on 32 sniper battle. Everyone runs sniper because it's just a flat plane with barely any cover. And because of that, if you're a good sniper, if you're a good sniper player, you can have the time of your life just pinging every single one of those sniper glints. But if you're not playing a sniper, it is a pain in the ass because you peek anything and you're just going to see hundreds upon hundreds of sniper glints just staring at you in the second before you get absolutely plastered with high caliber ammunition, high caliber rounds. It's just it's so poorly balanced, but it's fun. It's fun. I can't say anything else. But I have to put it here. I can't put it higher. I could probably put it lower, to be honest. But I enjoy Galicia, so this is my opinion pick, along with St. Quentin. It's staying here. Oh, and also artillery trucks are broken on Galicia. If you want an easy 50-60 kill game, just play Galicia. It's with an artillery truck. It's too easy. Volga and Empire. Volga, I'm gonna put in pretty good. This might be controversial because I know a lot of people dislike Volga, but I feel like it plays pretty well because the highest point on the map is that C objective in the very middle of the map. So that's like the highest point. So it can be seen from everywhere. And so snipers kind of have their effectiveness neutered a little bit. They're not quite as annoying because they can be countered from multiple angles. And it also allows for a bit of a variety of gameplay with the way the tanks move around, the way the trenches are positioned, and the way the flags are positioned. You can play it a couple of different ways, but I can't really put it any higher because there's at times in certain places where there's just not enough cover, and then a lot of the time as well it just suffers from players being unwilling to play the game. It's just gonna have to sit here for me. Empire's Edge I'm gonna put in the same category as well. Empire's Edge is one of the bigger maps in the game. I don't think it's the biggest. I think the biggest map is Sinai or Albion. Those two I believe are the biggest. But with Empires, just the way it plays out a lot of the time, there's just a lot of downtime. There's a lot of time that you're just running around, not really doing anything. And unless you know where the fights are actually happening, it can get kind of boring. But when you know what's going on, you understand the way the enemy team is playing, you can get into a lot of engagements and you can have a lot of fun, especially with a lot of different classes. Snipers are super fun to play on this map as well. But also Assault, playing around the flags in the middle of the map. I think it's C and D again. Heaps of tanks pushing there. Assault players can have a field day just raining dynamite and anti-tank grenades down to the towers. Heaps of flanking routes. There's a lot of ways to play it, but it just suffers from being boring at times. Amiens, I'm going to put as pretty good as well. Amiens is played... The map is essentially a giant hashtag with just interlocking lanes. And all the time, it's short-range engagements, or there's people sitting at the end of the lanes prone with a telescopic LMG, raining down suppression so you can't do anything to fight back. It's either super annoying or super fun. A lot of the times for me personally, it plays more with the super fun, because there are a lot of ways to play it. If you're smart, you can break open cover, create flanking routes with the destruction. The destruction can be really variable on Amiens. But at the same time, the laning is so frustrating sometimes, you can't move it to any other category. Just because the suppression is so overpowered in this game sometimes. Like, it physically stops you from being able to do anything with some of the LMGs. It is ridiculous. And it's just annoying. That's no other way to put it. Now, Verdun and Sinai, I'm both going to put in this category, in the holy shit, a good map for once category. Everyone loves Sinai, just because there's the super awesome infantry area between C and D. Heaps of fun to play. Tanks are really strong here, so tankers have a lot of fun, but they're counterable, they're not stupidly overpowered. Planes, I don't feel personally are stupidly overpowered just because of the way the map is placed. It doesn't suffer from the same boringness that Empires does, because a lot of the map is flat, so there's always something you have to pay attention to, otherwise you're going to get dinked. And yeah, it's just super hardy and super fun. You always enjoy yourself playing Sinai. And then Verdun is just gorgeous. The fire everywhere frames everything so well. It's so saturated and beautiful. It's super gorgeous. But then it doesn't suffer from the same issues that the other gorgeous maps do. It's actually pretty well balanced. Mortars can be stupidly overpowered because of the way the trenches are positioned. But if you can play around and you move and you learn the flanking routes and you figure out where enemy players are, it can be stupid fun. It can be stupidly fun. It's super good. I really enjoy Verdun. Then in the same category as well, I'd also put Giant Shadow. Giant's Shadow, everything happens around C and D, again, inside of the Fallen Blimp. But within those areas, there's just constant fights. There's always something going on. And you can play to your strengths with every single class in that area. Or if you want to be more passive, you can play outside of those areas and have sightlines with the more longer range weapons and not be stupidly overpowered because of the way the cover works, but still be effective. I just feel like Giant's Shadow within those two spots, although everything is happening in one spot, it makes the map feel smaller than it is, but it still works well. And it's so chaotic, you're always doing something, you're never bored, and it's just fun because of it. Passchendaele. I love Passchendaele. I wish I got to play Passchendaele more, because this map just personifies World War One. It is such a incredible, perfect representation of what I imagine World War One combat would have been like in my head. It's so dark and dreary and everything's broken. But then despite all of that, despite everything being broken, it's still, there's so much cover, there's so many different routes you can take that you can still have an enjoyable experience. Like, it's still good in video game context. It's just, there's so many ways that it can be played that it's just fun. And despite it being so dark and dreary, it's not like Prise, where everything, you can't see anything. It's still lit very well, and you can still make out enemy infantry against the backdrop because they're a slight shade lighter, and it just works. There's no other way to put it. Passchendaele just really captures that World War One feeling of just absolute depressing, nihilistic military combat. It's beautiful. I love it. Finally, last map on our list is Ballroom Blitz. I don't think anyone's surprised when I put Ballroom Blitz right here. Nah, I'm kidding. Ballroom Blitz is incredible. In my opinion, Ballroom Blitz is the best balanced map in the entire game. Every single class, whether it be tanker, airplanes, snipers, supports, medics, assaults, they all have a reason to exist, and they all have an area to thrive in Ballroom. You can do whatever you want on this map, and you can be successful with it. There are so many different options, there's so much variability, the map design is incredible, the couple lanes that do exist aren't too restricting, and they're still playable because of the destruction, particularly within the ballroom itself. And then outside, sure, there's a lot of open areas, but cover can be made with explosives. The cover is scattered well enough that snipers don't feel oppressing. But then at the same time, snipers can still be effective. It's a beautiful map. It's an awesome map. The tanks play well here. Assaults can counter. Tanks are actually counterable by assaults. It's just, what else can I say? Ballroom Blitz is the best map in Battlefield 1. In fact, if I could create a new category here now, I'd probably put Ballroom Blitz there as just the best map. Flat out, plain and simple. Anyway, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did make it to the end of the video, don't forget to drop a like and a sub if you want to see more Battlefield content. I upload weekly Battlefield content, and we'll be uploading Battlefield 2042 when it comes out towards the end of the year. Also looking to hit that 1,000 sub goal, so that way I can start doing this more frequently. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. You're back to make me feel again.